Thank you, Mr Assistant President. I move private members' business item number 3277 standing in my name. 8 hours. 8 hours a day, the generally accepted yardstick by which fair employment conditions can be measured. Ever since the campaign for 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of rest and 8 bob a day, we've looked at 8 hours as a fair demand by employers. And even though this has now often been lowered in many industries, it still works as a good rough guide. But work was rough indeed for young Filipino Mr Jerwin Royupa, who travelled to Australia on a 407 training visa. Living in southern New South Wales, he was required to work much longer than 8 hours a day. Coroner Hosking, after inquiring into the circumstances of his death, found that Jerwin was exploited in Australia, quote, required to work excessive hours, up to 60 hours per week, in excessive heat, without having been provided with appropriate clothing or sunscreen, end quote. The coroner further observed that on the evidence outlined, a number of indicators of modern slavery were present, including deception, restricted movement, isolation, intimidation and threats, abuse of vulnerability, retention of identity documents, withholding of wages. The coroner found that Mr Royupa was not paid for the work he did, debt bondage and excessive overtime. Because of the circumstances of Mr Royupa's time in Australia, the New South Wales Anti-Slavery Commissioner was granted leave to appear at the inquest. Jerwin knew what was happening to him was wrong, and he tried to get help. Sadly, he died before our anti-slavery hotline, 1-800-FREEDOM, was operational. But even today, could those held in servitude, like Jerwin, access this hotline, a lifeline to freedom? If they know about it, and if they ring during office hours, because from the 1st of January last year, due as the coroner found to constraints on funding, the hotline has only been staffed within business hours, when slaves are not always free to make calls out of hearing of their captors. Coroner Hosking recognised what an important role our hotline could have played in giving Jerwin options other than jumping out of a moving car to his death, but noted that at present, demand outweighs capacity. We have the power to change that equation. We have the obligation to change that equation. Not 8 hours, but a mere 2 hours of revenue from stamp duty would adequately fund the anti-slavery hotline and allow for it to be properly advertised. Not 2 hours of revenue a day, not 2 hours a week or even a month. 2 hours of stamp duty revenue in an entire year is all it would take to provide a hotline, a lifeline to freedom. The Treasurer tells us that the calls on the budget are many, but this is a just and an affordable call. I call on the Treasurer to guarantee this funding. In New South Wales in the 21st century, liberty should be more than a dictionary entry. It should be a reality. But Treasurer, we need your budget to make this happen. I ask the House to join with me in supporting this motion.